This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo. It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2. I forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a three-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpack, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpack.
4! I should have yelled 2.
There he is, our guy Jeff Kolpack. His appearances are brought to us each and every Monday by Northwestern Mutual. Good to see you, my man. How
Good
are
to
you?
see you.
Back from Grand Forks. You were up covering the Bison women's game against UND, which I'll get to in a second. Our last segment, we had Sam on with the news of Sacramento State. Your friends in Sacramento are moving up to the MAC. Maction. What do you make of that?
Well, I was impressed by their persistence.
Oh, that's one word for it.
And I think that's what you need to get in. I think one thing we've learned in the last week with NDSU going to the Mountain West, this doesn't happen over a course of a few weeks. You got to put yourself out there. Now, NDSU, I was really impressed how they did it with such a tight circle.
Yeah.
2 or 3 people maybe knew up at, I don't think any of the assistants knew. Or
as far as we could tell, not yet.
No,
from what I've asked in the last 7 days.
And so obviously, in going through this and reporting this, that's what it takes. Now, Sac State was a little...
They were the complete opposite of that.
They
let everybody know.
They threw everything against the wall.
They did. They definitely did.
But it worked. With $23 million, I guess it worked.
Right. They were willing to pay whatever. That's, I think, the president was as outward about that as you could be. Like, you could read between the lines that whatever cost it's going to take, we will spend it to make sure this happens.
It's just bizarre to me, though, when you look at the comparison of NDSU and Sac State and the money both invested. Now, NDSU can probably see it because they raised $54 million for a private indoor.
Yep.
They've had their budget up at the top levels for decades. They were the top spenders in Division II in the 80s and 90s. Took the program to Division I, went right to 63 scholarships.
Yeah.
They have invested over the period of decades and decades. Sac State, I'm going, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Your stadium stinks.
Right.
They don't have really any indoor practice facilities that I know of. I guess I've never been there.
Yeah.
Just never really had success.
Right. They made a couple of quarterfinals is about it for Sacramento State. Well,
$23 million just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Well, you could say
they were saying they had $50 million.
Yeah, you could say the same thing, honestly, maybe not exact monetary-wise with Missouri State. Mo State decided, and granted, it wasn't the amount of, they didn't have the $5 million to pay because they went in under the old $5,000, but like, where's Mo State getting the kind of funds that they're going to need to compete in Conference USA? And they won 8 games at a bowl game in their first year in FBS football.
I don't know. Is the owner of the Flame Restaurant in Springfield, Missouri? Is he
got some cash?
Got some cash?
We showed the highlights to start the show. You were up in Grand Forks yesterday. Bison women make it 21 in a row in a game that, I mean, it was, could I say, moderately close into the first quarter, and then at halftime it was dunzo after that?
Yeah, well, the Hawks did well to, I think, keep it close as they could and battle pretty hard, I thought, in the first couple quarters. That being said, Jory takes a technical foul.
Yeah.
I think he sensed, and he admitted it after the game. I think he was sincere when he goes, I go, were you trying to inject something into your team? And he goes, yeah, it was intentional. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
Because he told me this too earlier. The first one he got didn't count. He said he's good for one a season.
Good for 1 year. Has run out of games, and I thought it was time to get one. He was obviously joking a little bit there. Well, he goes, I didn't deserve the first one, whenever that was, early in the season.
Well, certainly it worked because after that, Bison put the hammer down. Got Kraswinski 3 at the end of the first half, put it a 13-point lead, and after that, Jeff, the Bison rolled in the second half.
You just look at the makeup of these teams, and I wrote about it in my column that, boy, times have changed. UND was pretty good in their 2013-18. Travis Brewster.
Absolutely. Made it the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, making a run at Big Sky's titles.
Yep.
Man, things have changed. I don't think UND had any chance athletically to win this game. And they're coming here in 2 weeks. Now, there's always a miracle on ice. I get that. But I just you look at the difference in these teams and programs and where they're at.
And then you could say, and you did write this, I remember Lexi Clabo playing for UND in that time stretch you're talking about, when the Bison were in bad straits like UND is now. And, like, boy, the talent disparity is not even close right now.
But even NDSU in their really down years under Marn and Carolyn Dehoff, they always, I thought, had an athlete or two. Like like a Brooke Lamar, Marina Whittle. You know, they had players.
Abby Plucker,
Plucker.
yeah,
I mean, at least they had, something like
yeah.
that. UND has just got a long way to go.
It's not good right now.
No.
And, I mean, they lost to Omaha. Omaha didn't have a Division I win prior to them beating UND a couple weeks ago. That's not great. And obviously, Schiller leaving was the tip of the iceberg. They lost a bunch of their good players. Kira Pemberton is at Baylor. Ibrahim left, who was their big, tall shot blocker last season. That is, I mean, and Dennis Hutter was put in a really almost impossible situation there to try and fill the team. And I don't know. I don't know how you do that.
I think if you had any question on why Jocelyn Schiller left Grand Forks, any question at all, it was probably answered yesterday.
How was that reaction when she came out yesterday?
No, there was a pretty different. It was an ovation. I sense a couple boos.
Just a couple though. It was not at all.
It was nothing. No. But and again, I wrote this that UND has bigger issues.
Than
to worry about former players. They
totally
got a
agree,
lot bigger issues.
So we showed the standings earlier. Bison now are 4 games left in the regular season. They got St. Thomas here at home on Thursday. South Dakota on the road next Saturday will be intriguing because USD's in second right now, and they beat the Jackrabbits at home. And then SDSU and UND to wrap the year.
Yeah, there's still a lot going on.
There's still monster games left. But there is the potential that they have a chance to win the league against the Jackrabbits in Fargo a week from Wednesday.
Wow.
I mean, right? I mean, what universe are we living in that could be reality now?
It's the portal era where NDSU gets a good player like Schiller, makes a big difference.
And recruited well. You say that Jory Collins and Dylan Geisert have found, obviously they found Avery Coonan. They got Carrington Asp, who was, the Jackrabbits were trying to get her as well, that her parents played college ball in South Dakota. Those are 2 big recruiting wins that the Bison just frankly didn't have in that stretch that we were talking about.
Yeah, Avery is just a genius recruit. I mean, she was a good high school player, but she was more of an athlete, a triple jump champ without even practicing it. Those are the recruits in the mid-major level that you take and develop.
The Bison men took care of business as well on Saturday. They were down 1 at halftime, Jeffrey, to UND, 32-31, and then outscored UND 52-33 in the second half. We showed the montage of Markai Strickland dunks that happened in the second half of that game, but this was a 180 to what happened in this game.
Yeah, it seemed to me Markai in the first half was, I don't want to say checked out, but didn't really see
tentative is maybe
engaged like maybe he could be. He checked in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, after one of those 1 or 2 dunks, it's like, wow, it's Trayvon.
That one right there.
Trayvon Wright from 2014.
That's what I said. Like, there's nobody who dunks it like him since Trayvon, because Trayvon's waist was level with the rim when he was.
And there's a certain power and explosiveness from point A at the floor to the rim.
Yeah.
That's just a God-given ability.
Yep. Bison get the victory. Now, as we mentioned, have a 2-game lead on St. Thomas and a 3-game lead on UND. UND's probably out of the conference race. It's NDSU and St. Thomas. And remember, the Bison go to St. Paul a week from Thursday.
I don't think they've played particularly well.
They have not in the past. They got blown out last year when they were down there. That's the old arena. Now, obviously, this is the new one. St. Thomas saw its home win streak snapped by UND a couple weeks ago. But the Bison you can't overlook this one. They got South Dakota State coming up on the road on Wednesday. And I know the Jacks are where they are. You look at the league standings.
But it's still in Brookings.
Right, it's the Jackrabbits. And this is going to be their Super Bowl. They have a chance to maybe beat the Bison on Wednesday night. It's going to be a huge game down there.
And that's obviously one of the toughest mid-major places to play in the country.
Yeah.
They've done a great job in their renovation. Have always had great fan support.
Andy Stefanowicz, I thought, was really, really good.
He's shooting it at a high level.
Really good. He made 5 threes on Saturday. I mean, just in passing the ball, he's just been dynamite in sharing things with Amari Wheeler-Thomas.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best, where do you think you put his improvement as a shooter from last year?
Well, about a 13, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a bad shooter, but I think and when he's taking it, it's pretty much, it's going down. I mean, it's hard to imagine
a couple have been
that.
contested from out there, too.
Yep, and it was Saturday. He had a couple of guys right in his face, and he drilled. That, to me, the fact that they can have both him and Wheeler-Thomas out there at the same time is just a different element that other teams in the league just can't present.
At the beginning of the year, both the men and women couldn't throw it in the ocean.
No, they couldn't make a shot. I mean, I think if Jory had his druthers, if they go back and play that Gonzaga game again, if Dave can play Oregon State, I think we'd have much different results in both of those games that they're playing right now.
Because they just couldn't hit the.
No.
It was blanks.
Couldn't hit the
from
broadside of the
three.
barn is exactly right on that. So Stefanowic's been good. We mentioned Markai. Travion Carson had that kind of game as well, where just had another stat stuffer game. I think it was 8, 7, and 7. I mean, his numbers are just, they're not going to blow off the page. I took a deeper look. I'm like, man, that's first team all league kind of stats because he's great in everything.
You look at the
Rebounds,
Bison women,
assists.
too. I thought they missed a lot of in-close shots, too.
Yesterday?
And they
Yeah.
still, they didn't look real energized to me in the first half.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a layoff. They haven't played in 8 days.
Yeah.
But they still won by what?
26. I mean, it got up by 30 as 1 point in the game yesterday. Yeah, they took care of business. So as we stand now, can we talk bracketology? Will you roll your eyes at me now? We can do that now, right?
You know,
Because here we are. We're on the back end of February, man.
I know. I'm with you.
Selection
Let's go.
Sunday is less than a
go.
month away. CBS this morning has the Bison as a 14 seed on the men's side facing Kansas. Have we seen that before? We've seen that act before.
We need to bring Ben Woodside back.
Back in 2009. That's the ESPN will put its latest out tomorrow. They had the Bison women, the most recent one that ESPN did, Jeff, as a 10 seed. 10, which again will beg the question. We'll get this between now and wherever their season ends in the Summit. Can they get in as an at-large if they lose to the Jack? They can't lose to anybody else but the Jacks.
But if you're a 10 seed now, then it would be almost a crime. This is a bracketology. This is not official.
Correct.
People like you sitting in the basement.
What does that mean? I don't sit in my basement to do this stuff. I'm up on the table when I do it. The net rankings, I mean, let's do this real quick before we go to break because I want to chat some football on the other side. Right now, NDSU's 41 in the net. That's awfully darn good as well. But I had this question a bunch this weekend. I do not think they cannot lose to anybody but SDSU. And I don't think they can lose twice. You know what I mean? Like if they lose the game in Fargo here next week, they obviously they can't mess around and lose the Summit
definite
Championship
collision
game.
course to play twice.
I think so. Well, USD beat SDSU. What do we make of that?
Well,
I mean, Robles was great in that game. They still have to play. USD has to go to Brookings and play as well to see how that will play out. And USD struggled with Denver a couple weeks ago. So I don't know what to make of what's to come.
Does this keep you up at night?
It does for the fact that could they get it as an at-large? Could NDSU women's basketball make it as an at-large team? If I would have told you that 10 years ago, you'd laugh in my face, right?
The pointing is
But you know
very
what I mean?
direct.
You'd laugh right in my face. Like, how is that possible?
I like laughing in your face.
Yes, I know.
It's one of my favorite pastimes.
I'm just telling you that would not been on the. You talk about how UND was where they were at in 2016 to where NDSU was 10 years later. That could be a possibility. No way. All right, let's break. We come back. We got a bunch of topics we want to hit on in the last week that we found out on the Mountain West and NDSU. Continuing story we're going to have for the next 6 months. We'll do that on the other side of the break. We're back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Our guy, Sam Getzinger, got this video on Saturday. So who is Tim Polasek texting here? Is it you, Kolpack? Is he texting a recruit or a donor?
No, it was me. He was wondering, he goes, this prune juice up here in the arena is really good.
I'm going to guess it's B. If I know him, it's always recruiting.
Always B.
Always recruiting.
But it could be C, too.
It wasn't you?
Nope.
Yeah, donor is now way up the leaderboard now with trying to make this happen. First, before we get going, kudos to you and Mike. Awesome reporting the last week, man. You guys have been doing yeoman's work. Great stuff. I think everybody is consuming and trying to as much as we can since this became official. Reading through the contract, I got it as well. What stood out to you? Anything that really was interesting about going through the language of the Mountain West
I think
deal?
it looked pretty basic contract, looked pretty standard, if you will, I think. Not that I know these contracts very well, but it seemed pretty upfront. I want to say the media stuff. I mean, you are investing in your program. That's what you mean by investing in this, because you got to make up the difference from not getting the media revenue.
Yeah, I think, right, because it's not going to be there for 6 years' time unless they renegotiate, which I tend to think, and I asked Larson this when he was here on Friday, I don't think the Mountain West went to the table with Fox and CBS and the CW without them knowing that a 10th member was coming. Now, did they know it was NDSU? That can be up for debate, but I think they knew they were adding a 10th member. I don't think they're going to go back and renegotiate. This is the deal. No, media companies don't do that.
They don't.
Unless you're the NFL.
Right.
And the NFL is the only one who can go about and do that. To me, the one thing that was interesting was the full membership clause. And I know Davis fans are screaming, well, Davis got the same deal. Yes, but no. Like, they have the opportunity to apply. It does not mean the Mountain West will take them, but they have the first rights to do so.
And I think that was a backup, and pretty smartly so, to do this. If the summit, explodes, if Omaha goes somewhere, St. Thomas goes to the Big East. I mean, that's all possible.
Yep.
Oral Roberts has left before.
Or Kansas City has left before. That's to say everything is A-OK on that front. I am intrigued, because you wrote about this late in the week, the reaction from around the conference. We have some familiar faces here. Jason Eck, we know.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Choate, we know well at Montana State. Aaron Bull, Craig's son, is the defensive coordinator at Wyoming. What did you make of the reaction from around the league?
From the Mountain West?
NDSU joining.
I think it was pretty standard, if you will. They're not going to come out and rip it, obviously.
No.
And I think there was a little push, I'm guessing. Hey, you guys want to have a press conference?
Maybe have some media to get known about what NDSU joining the league. Yeah.
You know, I watched the Jason Eck press conference at New Mexico. It was like an hour, but there's a fair amount of questions on NDSU.
Yes.
He was talking about coming back here, and
thought he said he was done with this place. Yeah, that was great. The Nevada AD was glowing.
Didn't see that.
Glowing about the addition. Stephanie Rempe is the AD at Nevada, was glowing about North Dakota State's addition. Timmy Chang, who's the head football coach at Hawaii, was all about, hey, this is going to be a great addition for our conference, about adding NDSU. Here's the thing, and you wrote this, you experienced this full bore in the fall of 2008. The NDSU was picked to win the former Gateway Football Conference.
Northern Iowa didn't like that.
Before they even played a down in that league. I don't know if we're going down that same path here in 2026, but these teams will be ready to take their shot, I would say, against NDSU.
But isn't the goal, I think, this in the first year, a realistic goal is to be bowl eligible if you do indeed.
Oh, I think beyond that,
waiver.
I think win
7-5.
I mean, who's your non-conference against? You got to tell me that.
Well, again, we don't know, but I just think as a general goal isn't that what all these teams that you want to be bowl eligible?
Yes. Yep. I think NDSU is always beyond that. I'd say 8-4, 9-3 is what they're looking at here. And granted, this. We haven't even started our projection of the team.
Schedule.
But we haven't even looked at the team yet. You know what I mean? I was prepared to start doing that in February. I started looking at positions. Now it's a totally different look at this football team now.
And let's not mix this year's team to next year's team. I think going into this NDSU has more questions, certainly on offense, than they have in a long time.
Quarterback.
Lost a lot in the portal.
Quarterback is a question mark.
So they're not exactly, and Mike brought this up, going in real fully loaded here either.
No, it was not like
you have a new starting quarterback.
Last year's team, right.
New starting running back.
Yep.
New left tackle, or mostly new left tackle.
Yep.
You lost your middle linebacker. I mean, you got question marks up and down the lineup here.
To your point, new kicker.
New kicker.
New long snapper. You can't mess with that. They have pieces back, but you're exactly right. This is not the 2024 Bison.
This is not 2019
or the
heading into it.
Or the 2025 Bison, I'd even say, with the amount of talent they knew they had coming back on the roster last season. That is not what they have in 2026.
And again, be careful. I'm not going to say there's not talent there. We just don't know. There's just
right. Yeah. So that's a
lot of younger guys are going to have to grow up in a hurry.
Have not played before on that. I got an email to ask you about this, about NIL chaos, because your story you wrote on Craig Bowl blew up online. It did really, really well. What do you think of what Bowl is doing right now to combat what's going on in the agent world in college football?
You know, Craig, when he retired from Wyoming, you thought, okay, is this guy really going to retire?
Nope.
He's actually, I think, working harder than ever.
He might be busier now.
He just sort of got this. I feel like he's trying to save college football.
Yes. From itself,
and he's putting on his back. He and Bob Nielsen at the AFCA down there in Waco, Texas.
I'd be intrigued to see how this plays, because I mean, there are some.
But Craig's
people around this
He's
industry.
a pilot. He's one of these guys. He's always got to be on the move. I mean, he was always moving, traveling, flying. I remember in practice in the early days, he'd fly to Minneapolis on Delta, take this 5 a.m. flight, and take the 1 p.m. flight and be back for practice. That's how he recruited Grant Olson.
Exactly.
Be down in Wayzata in the morning. Come back for practice.
Back in the afternoon. Hi, Dom and Jeff. A number of us Bison fans would like to know why the entrance fee last year for Northern Illinois was $2 million, and our entrance fee a year later is $12.5 million. Can you help us out with this?
Because I can.
Negotiation, well, exactly right. Actually, the Mountain West wanted it higher. The Bison negotiated that down to $12.5 million. That's exactly why.
And again, I know you and Mike talked about this, but when NDSU went Division I, we didn't know the caliber competition. We didn't know what FCS was like or 1AA at the time. When they beat Montana in 2003, you're going, what? How is that possible? Then they get into it. Then we go to all these places. We go to Nacogdoches, Texas, Georgia Southern. We went all around the country, and you come back to Fargo and go, oh, hey, maybe this isn't as bad. Maybe Joe Chapman was right here.
Yep.
And so on that note, now that we've been reporting on this, granted only a week, on potential Power 4 split, and you and Sam brought it up, I just don't know if there's many FCS schools in line to get in again.
No, I do not.
Because I was of the ilk that when they split, eventually if the Power 4 ever splits, and now I have my doubts that'll ever happen.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to break up the NCAA tournament.
Nope.
Basketball. So even if that happens, now that we've been reporting and now that we're asking and talking to people, you're going, wow. It's not like all these, Montanas are going to go, okay, we'll go now. Here's a couple million.
Right. No.
I don't know if the price will ever come down.
No, it's not coming down. The baseline is now set at 18. If you want it in, it's going to be higher than that going forward. I don't see it coming down.
This is stuff.
Why would a league do that?
When I was sitting here 2 weeks ago, I had no idea because we just didn't need to report on it.
Right.
But now that you're asking around and asking questions, you go, oh.
Yeah, and to what Mike reported as well, talking with the consulting firm that he dealt with, that there are no Missouri Valley or the two Montanas are not next up on who he's dealing with about moving up from FCS. That tells you again that South Dakota State, the Montanas were fine talking about it, but not in a position to, if the phone call came, and that's what Larson and I were talking about, the phone call came, you have to say yes.
Because
can't call back.
The split would have to happen, which I don't think it will.
No,
now.
No, they're under contract until 2032 now.
And B, there's a cost to this, and they're not going to let you in just because they need more programs.
No.
I didn't know this either. They don't need more programs.
They do not. They could say in this make-believe world that the power, and I've talked about it before, that think they would do this. Like, why would they? But let's just envision, okay, they do, that, okay, the group of 6 now has 65, 70 schools. Why do we need any more? We can go and do our own thing, and we're going to have our own playoff, and there we go.
And I guess it's not that I didn't know. It's just I've never looked into it.
Yeah.
And now, after a week of reporting on this, it's changed my mind.
Last thing before we go, for your friends, colleagues, associates you've dealt with in the last 7 days, what's the reaction been that this is now outside of the media world that the Bison are doing
my
this?
friends, my circle is 98% into it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I've run into so many people. My wife and I were out for dinner on last Friday night and ran into people. I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
And people I sort of know, but not really.
Yeah,
that have no reason to come up to me and talk about football. And so I have gotten a huge vibe different of opinion.
My wife was besieged this week at a couple spots. Wait, what does Dom think about this? Well, you can watch his show. That's what she said. That's a perfect answer.
Good answer.
On that. But yeah, I would tell you there is some
I guess
renewed
we'll find out.
vigor, I think.
There's no question about that. I guess we'll find out on ticket sales and season and all that.
Anecdotally, we were up at the Shack, Sam and I, and the line was steady when we were up there for season tickets up at the Shack when we were up there last week. So, and that was post Mountain West annouement.
I was on the Las Vegas ESPN radio show guy last week.
Ooh, big timer now. Yeah. You're done with Hot Mic and go do spots.
I'm thinking about it.
Got it.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it.
What do they have to say?
And I go, this program got sick of winning. And they're going, what?
Yeah.
I go, it's a real thing. It's a real phenomenon. Because after 10 titles in 15 years, people just got tired of going to games and being at B-dubs at halftime.
Look at the photo.
Or Labbies at halftime.
Look at the photo of the Dome in December. That's all you need to know.
It's like, I go, it's a real thing. They got sick of winning. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know you're thinking I'm some jackhammer in Fargo saying they got sick of winning, but they got sick of winning.
That's exactly
they did.
Right. No doubt.
Unbelievable.
The commission will be here tomorrow, so she's doing a site
We'll
visit.
see how sick of winning they are when they're getting beat by Air Force 39-6.
Polisic doesn't need it's like the shakes when you bring up Air Force
Yeah, I
around
know.
him.
Oh, the discipline.
Yeah, exactly.
The triple option. Oh, my God.
Great to see you. Thanks for coming by as always.
I'm just getting going. Do I have to
know.
go?
Right? Yeah, we got a break here.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal. Jeff Kolpack joins us each
going
and every
back to
Monday
ESPN.
at 10. Yeah, you go back to Vegas. Go for it. We'll break. We come back. We got a bunch of emails, texts to get to, your questions on the Bison of the Mountain West. We'll do that when Hot Mike returns. Back after this.